I've always been interested in Bill Mollison's take on the fact that he saw permaculture as the best aid program ever invented. And in my early permaculture years, after I did my PDC in 1992, I hooked up with a guy called John McKenzie, who was starting up what was called PAGAN, Permaculture Global Assistance Network. And John came out of the aid industry. He was working for World Vision and places like that. And so, we all kind of come into permaculture from different vocations and that. And so I met very early someone who came into permaculture that saw its potential in the aid industry. And that's always kind of excited me. And so when I jumped onto Permafund from Permaculture Australia, it was kind of just sitting there not doing much. So I got in touch with John and said, look, this Permafund's kind of vacant. Do you want to come into that space and we'll start doing something? And we held a meeting in Katoomba in 2012 with the question of what does good permaculture aid look like? Because we didn't really know. We had examples over there. Bill's one was basically do a PDC, get locals charged up, and things will evolve from that. We saw the model that other permaculture people took of demonstration sites, getting some land somewhere, setting up the infrastructure to run courses, do gardens, and then tell the locals, well, here it is, all you got to do is copy that. And that was one. So we set up the Permafund to do micro grants. And so once a year, we put a call out to permaculture people all around the world to apply for small grants, $500, $1,000, $2,000, something like that. So we're really tapping onto people on the ground already doing it, established, and we're kind of making that connection with them, not so much to give them some money, but to start a conversation with them on how they're going and what they're doing. Mm-hmm. So that's the impact of it, I guess, is that communication that we have with people. And they don't necessarily have to come under the banner of permaculture, as long as they are applying permaculture principles in the assistance network that they're doing, then, we'll make that contact and help them out. So that's been going now for about 8 years. We've been delighted this last few months where our kitty has doubled. We used to wait for, a year and get $10,000 in. Well, we've reached 20,000. And that's exciting. And so we can assist more people. And so I think Permafund's a really interesting one in terms of really looking at where the need is greatest and making contact with those people and assisting them in the projects they're doing. And some of them are amazing. A lot of it comes down to marginal farmers. There's a big area, particularly in Southeast Asia, in Africa, and in India, where you've got, small scale farming. They went through the Green Revolution. The pesticides, the fertilizers, they're either becoming too expensive or they're dying because of the fact that they're using them. And how you move them back a few generations to what their grandparents used to do and grow food naturally. And so, it's the biochar, it's the worm farming, it's the organics, that sort of thing. There's a massive need for that kind of education. So that I guess that excites me a lot, that area of how can permaculture, I mean, it's all well and good to teach a PDC in affluent Australia, April, and teach really well-off middle-class people, how to go about changing their lives. And if their carrots don't grow, well, there's always a supermarket down the road. But where the need is really, really great, that if that design or if that doesn't work, people actually perish. That's a lifting of the scale of what we can do as designers. So that space in permaculture really excites me on how we can really assist people in great need. And I think that would fulfill, Mollison, as much as, he was such an incredible person in terms of his knowledge, basically he was a humanitarian. He was very much a humanitarian. And if you look back at those global gardener videos that were put out in the 90s, a lot of Bill's activities were in those third world countries assisting people that really needed it. Yeah, so we're really interested in looking at what does good permaculture aid look like.
That's very heartwarming. Thank you.